Welcome, Woven Ones. This is Generations Woven, where the voices of 3 generations blend into one tapestry of truth, laughter, love, and life. Today's episode is how we met. People have been asking us, how did you ladies meet? And we decided to do a little bonus kind of episode just to bring you up to code on how we came together. So this episode is a little different. Today we're pulling back the curtain and sharing how we met, not just as hosts, but as women who found each other in a very real, unexpected ways. Generations Woven didn't start as a podcast idea or a brand. It started with conversations, with listening, with noticing how much wisdom lives across generations and how rarely we actually sit down and share it. So today, we're telling the story of how our paths crossed, what brought us together, and why this space means so much to us.
Shining like the sun, generations woven hand.
I'm really glad we're doing this because people have asked me, are these your friends? And I said, no.
I mean, we are now.
We are now, but you guys live like an hour, 20, 30 from me. Mm-hmm. I don't go there often. Why would I go to where you live? I didn't know you. So it's right. Interesting how we were directed to each other. Mm-hmm. So, Judy, it started with you.
It started with me. I went to my chiropractor in Dixon, and I'm sitting in the waiting room, and this lady walks in and sits beside me. And I don't know what happened, but it was like we had been soul sisters. We started talking, and we never stopped. It was like we had known each other for years. And even the doctor, the chiropractor, mentioned, wow, you two are something else. But that's how it started. And that day we went for coffee. And it started, 2.5 years ago? Just sort of evolved from there. And we started having coffee and talking and sharing dreams and all those sort of things. So
yeah, it was really interesting for me because it happened. So once a year I go and I'm looking for silence. So I go camping just by myself. And typically around the time I do a fast, so food's not a real big thing. And this particular situation, I had a little bit of a dilemma with my car. So I was on this oil consumption program with my car. And I got really good at pouring oil in where the oil goes in your car. This is my blonde story, so just letting you know. And then they replaced the engine, which was wonderful. And then one day, right before this trip, I saw that the brake light came on in my car. And I'm like, why is that on? So because I'm smart, I went to go and buy brake fluid. And the morning before I went to work, I poured the brake fluid in where the oil used to go. And the moment I did it, I realized, that was wrong. I was wrong. But, I have a strong faith. And in that moment, I'm like, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. I am not going to worry about that. I went to work, and the next day, I think was the Thursday, that I went camping. And it's weird when you think about what could have happened, but I just packed my stuff, put it in the car, and went to the chiropractor first. And then when I was done, I called Judy or you called me and said, would you mind? So now knowing Judy, I can tell you the answer is going to be, no, I don't mind at all. She's like, would you mind if this one person joins us for dinner? And I said, no, that is totally fine. So that was Tasha.
This was August 15th of this year.
Wow.
2025.
Wow. Yeah.
2025, August 15th.
So I remember I came in, you guys were sitting at this cute little place that had like a little bit of a bay window type of situation. And you were sitting there, and I mean, I've known you for a while. So I'm like, oh, this is Tasha. And I remember I ordered food. And the reason I wanted that was because there's avocado on, as one of the main ingredients.
And it's so good with the avocado.
Exactly. And when they brought it, there was just no avocado. And I'm sure she could have seen my absolute exasperation of
disappointment.
Where's the avocado? And lo and behold, the next moment, Tasha got up and she left. And I looked at Judy and I thought, oh, maybe she's just going to go to her house and go get...
I said, I'm going to go get avocado.
Yeah.
I was like, hold on, I'm going to go get some avocado.
And I thought you're going to go get it at your house. But you literally walked across the street and came back with 2 avocados and gave it to the waitress. She cut it up nicely. And yes, I had my wonderful food. But I'm like, oh, this is a Sparky. She gets stuff done.
She will find avocado for you, stranger who she's never met before.
It was amazing. So it was an amazing meal. And I think that was one of the first times that I looked at you and thought, she gets stuff done. And I like that.
Yeah, my vibe that day, it was really interesting. Like, I've known Judy for, multiple years at this point, and had, kind of what started it was I was going over to her house in the mornings. I was running over there because from my place to her place is exactly a mile.
Wow.
So that was a nice, mile there, mile back. And I had just told her, I was like, I'd been searching for something. I didn't know what I've been searching for. I didn't know what I wanted. I had a laundry list of ideas that, I want to, maybe I want to do this. Maybe I want to do that. I just didn't know. But I had finally kind of come to like a head where I was like, I just want to help women. And so that's when she goes, do you want to go to dinner tonight? And I was like, sure. She's like, my friend Nerina that I've told you about a few times, and she goes, she's going to come in town. And I was like, yeah, I would love to meet her. And meeting you was just such a, it just was such a, like a family member feeling, right? It felt like I had already known you forever. We all sat around and talked for hours there. I mean, we pretty much would have shut the place down if we wouldn't have gotten there when they opened. But it just felt so natural talking with both of you. And we didn't talk about anything of a future, right? Like we just met each other, and it was just so real. And we just got to know each other, and you told me the story of you putting the brake fluid in your oil, and I immediately go to Google and I'm like, this is not good. And I'm searching it and I'm reading how bad that could be. And I was thinking to myself, like, she should not continue driving this car. Like, we need to get the oil out and it needs to get drained. But she said she was going to the, a place the next morning to get her oil checked and everything. But I was telling her I was concerned, and she goes, no need to be worried. And you told me this story of, I think it was like a minister.
It was an evangelist, that put water
in his gas tank. And I also thought that was very crazy. And I was like, oh, maybe it worked. Maybe he got lucky. I think I was just like, oh, it's very lucky of him to get that. But I was like, I don't know if this is going to work out for you in my head, But I was like, that's cool. So the next day I was curious of what happened. But really what happened that next night, it was, I had this moment that was bigger than logic. And I just felt it, and I knew that we had stories to be shared. And I knew that we had things that we could do to help bring back connections that we all had kind of chatted about during that dinner, right? The stories of like sitting around and playing cards with your grandparents, and you always had like more family around and talking about different things, and, stories that we, Judy, I think at that time you had said that cute little story of, make sure you have clean underwear on.
Oh, God. My mother was like 2 generations, because she was older when I came around. And
Yeah.
she was always saying, if you're going out of town, make sure you got clean underwear on, just in case you get in a wreck. And I'm going, Mom.
But it's these little things. Like, I don't have any grandparents alive, right? They've been dead for many years and passed. And even when, my one grandmother, my mom's mom, passed when I was 6 months old. So I hear stories of things. And I remember like sitting around at my grandpa's house, and they used to call the radio station. There would be like phone games, and they would all sit around and they would call. But all those things that are kind of lost, right? So anyway, those things are kind of plopping in my head, and we had talked about that. And like I said, I had this moment where I just felt like this is what we needed to do. And I was like, we could have a podcast. We could have a podcast. We could talk about things. We could help other women feel connected. We can become more connected
And what
with
did I
different
say?
generations.
What's a podcast?
But knowing Nerina for less than 24 hours, really, I don't know if I asked for her number. I was like, do you have Nerina's number? I don't know if we got on a call together, but I was like, I think we should do a podcast. I think this is what we should do together. And it just flowed so naturally from meeting somebody less than 24 hours later. Let's do this venture. And then just now it's snowballed into so much more. And
Every
we have
door open wide.
Literally.
yes, just
literally.
everything's laid into place. We've, put a book out together, a workbook to, soft rebuild, helping women just kind of reconnect with themselves and find their next season, to having these events now, our bingo event that, bringing women together to talk about their goals and their future and all the things that we are building together with the mindset of building a community, having women of different generations so we can learn from each other and kind of change the way that we are from being on our phones to being connected. And
Yeah.
I don't know, it's been such an
Recapturing
amazing,
that personal. Yeah,
recapturing the stories,
yeah.
sharing the
Telling stories, picking up the phone and calling someone versus texting.
hmm
Sitting down and writing a little note or card.
Sending Christmas cards. I did it for the first time this year, and I did learn that square cards are more expensive than rectangle cards.
Oh.
Yeah, they have to go through a special machine. So some of my people had to pay 44 cents to pick up their Christmas cards. I'm so sorry. But I learned a lesson, but I never took the time to do it. But you send cards, and I've always thought it's so nice. And you've encouraged me to then send Christmas cards because it's a touch that's personal.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask a question to you young girls. Do you save an email or a text,
Work stuff.
Not really, but I save cards.
but a card or a handwritten letter?
Yeah.
I can't throw it away.
Exactly.
hmm
That's the difference.
The personal touch, and and also me now having sent Christmas cards, I see the effort that goes into it. Like it wasn't just a, slap it on, leave an empty card. Like I wrote in every card just a little bit of a message because I wanted to give somebody something that I felt like it came from me. And I don't know, it's those little things that it's kind of building out that, generational things that our grandparents used to do, things that our parents do, things that we can still continue to do,
Right.
and share that with others.
But for those of you that now need to know the end of the story, I know some people can get ADHD on that. I know I can do that myself. So I did take the car the next day.
Yes.
I asked the very nice gentleman, I said, I have a question. Just hypothetically speaking, what would happen if you do this with your vehicle? And he goes, that's not good. And I said, okay, I did that. So they drained the fluid, even though 2 weeks ago I just went through that. But they drained it. They put new oil in it. You know what? It's fine. But I had such a strong sense of it's going to be okay. I don't have to worry about this. So my car is fine.
And that faith though is
It was
got to
strong.
have it strong sometimes,
I need that.
Reinvigorated my faith
I
in
need
just
that.
some of these experiences and stories and everything that's gone on. It's been beautiful.
And, it was interesting. So I went back and I, got my tent up um, and I like to write. And that weekend, I just didn't get a lot of, there wasn't a lot of download. But then I think you and I talked, and she said the sentence, which we have said so many times. And when I did my coaching business, that was my reason, was to help women. I've always said, I want to help women. And when you said that's what Tasha said, I'm like,
And what did I want 25 years ago?
to help women.
To help
So
women.
I think that was our thread. We all wanted to help women. And whether it's by stories, whether it's by advice, whether it's by learning from what we've done,
Our experiences.
we have a very deep-seated desire to share with other women so we can help them. And I think that's the thread that pulls us all together.
Yeah.
And that's how Generations Woven was born. And I remember when we were like, well, what should we call it? But even from the moment that, because not too long after that, we thought, we need a professional photographer to come and take pictures, which normally I know it takes 2 hours for what we want. We had 4, I think it was 4 clothing changes.
Yeah, we don't do anything little.
Yeah, we don't, that's so true. We go all out.
I have to say I laughed more that day than I have.
We had
Oh, it was
so
such a
much
fun time.
So fun.
But that kind of spurred the professionalism behind what it is we're doing. And then our website followed, and we became really serious about. But I want to just do a quick shout out to Brian and his company too. A long, long time ago, in fact, 21 years ago, when we moved from South Africa to the United States. For me, this was my second time doing that. We found a church here at Crest Hill. And when Tasha said, I found a place where we can come and they will do absolutely everything, the videography, they will do the editing. And I said, well, where are they? And she goes, Crest Hill. And I'm like, what? It was, sometimes you just see all these
Like
connections.
a full circle.
And it's a whole, it is exactly. It was a full circle. And I'm like, okay, I get it. This is where it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And we're so thankful that we ended up here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, it's been a great
Great
journey so far.
All right, ladies. So as you listen to our story, we invite you to think about the women who've shaped your lives. And maybe it's someone who walked beside you for a season. Maybe it's someone who taught you something without even realizing it. Reach out to one of them this week. Send a text, make a call, start a conversation. Because connection is where growth begins, and none of us are meant to do life alone. Thank you for being part of the Woven community. We're so glad you're here. Until next time, God bless.